Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hello, my name is Simran and I'm here to present a paper slide video on Macbeth and why it is great literature, written by a world-known poet and playwright named William Shakespeare. Macbeth is a story that revolves around the character and how he is convinced to act in the way other protagonists and antagonists allow him to do so, which is portray an evil element to the story as they recall the future predictions. As the predictions begins to come true, Macbeth begins to believe them and move forward to believe them. This is just the first part, but due to Lady Macbeth's persuasion, Macbeth kills Duncan, the King of Scotland, for his ambition of power and greed. As the story moves forward, Macbeth's ambition becomes stronger and begins to take over his state of mind, and as a result, he starts to kill and slaughter people and their families. Later on, he meets with the witches once again, and they tell him 3 more apparitions. The witches tell him that he will not be killed by any man born of a woman, and also that he will not die until the Burnham Woods walk towards his castle. Macbeth realized that the last time he met with the witches, their predictions came true, and therefore he believes the witches' prediction this time and rests as he thinks no one can harm him. As he relaxes, Malcolm's army camouflages into Burnham Woods and moves towards Macbeth's castle to kill him. When Macbeth realizes it is very too late, and at the end, Macduff, whose family Macbeth slaughters, beheads Macbeth and tells him that he was born through a C-section, not by a normal birth. So therefore, do not be too greedy for power that you put your own family and your life future at risk. Furthermore, a world-known poet and playwright, William Shakespeare, has done many types of plays in the history and are very well known worldwide. Therefore, due to this, everyone is able to relate and write back on how the book is. This is a great literature as it has a well-explained and thorough commentary. Moreover, Macbeth is so well written that it conveys its universal truth for ambition and greed very effectively. Lastly, this play is a great literature as it has an element of evil and how the evil prophecies and predictions come true. Next, this commentary on Macbeth shows that it is an example of great literature as it covered some aspect of how William Shakespeare writes and Shakespeare's relation to historical events and much more. The author portrays everything about Macbeth in a very precise limit, but enough for the reader to understand. The author believes that Shakespeare's verse pattern is far from being an irregular one and conveys the irregularity of the spoken language. Rhyming couplets are used by Macbeth on occasional basis. To sum up, Macbeth is a unique piece of literature as there are plenty of detailed commentaries relating to this play. Relations to Macbeth makes this novel a great example of literature. Moreover, Macbeth is an example of great literature as it conveys its universal truth of ambition and greed very effectively by killing the people in the way to throne. But as the play progressed, he begins to lust for power under the persuasion of Lady Macbeth. But before that, he was very contented with what he had. In this example, greed for power is taking over Macbeth when he says to the witches that, "Stay, you imperfect speakers, tell me more." At last, this proves that Shakespeare has conveyed his universal truth for greed very effectively in the play Macbeth. Last but not least, in my opinion, this play is great due to the element of evil that puts its audience in a thrilled motion. This literature is so great for me because it has suspense related to it. Personally, I like suspense stories, and therefore this play is a great example because it has a suspense related to it when the prophecies are told by the witches. For example, when the witches tell him the three apparitions, and one of them says that he will not be killed by any man born of a woman, creates suspense and thrill for the audience and makes them wait and watch due to the suspense created environment. Macbeth is a world-known piece of William Shakespeare. There are so many reasons to why this play is a great piece of literature. Some of the reasons are that William Shakespeare writing is so intact with today's writing that many people can relate to it and write about him and his plays very persuasively. Next, Shakespeare has a great writer. Shakespeare was such a great writer that in his work of Macbeth, the universal truth is clearly evident. And the universal truth is greed. All in all, this play is great as it has a suspenseful and mysterious element added to it by the witches and their prophecies. To conclude, I would like to say that never take advantage of the things you need, and never let yourself to be overcome by greed. So walk the straight and narrow way and you shall succeed. Thank you very much.